Hi everyone, thanks for joining us today for our Internet of Things webinar. We're going to give everyone just another minute or two to join and then we'll get started. Thanks.
CB Insights will help you to find the next unicorn. Will help you to see where the smart money is investing. CBinsights.com will help you to discover the next hot industry. CB Insights.
Okay everyone, thanks for waiting. My name is Riley from CB Insights and I'll be walking you through a few housekeeping items before turning it over to Nick for the presentation. First, don't worry about taking notes as we'll be sending both the slides and the recording to you right after the webinar. Second, if you have any technical difficulties during the webinar, your best bet is to reach out to the Citrix Help Desk. You can also tweet at us or send an email to webinar@cbinsights.com and we'll do our best to help. But again, we'll be sending everything out afterwards, so don't worry too much. Okay, so as with all of our webinars, we'll be moving through a lot of data and insights and doing it pretty quickly. But we also want to make sure we're answering your questions and keeping this relevant. So feel free to ask questions using the Questions tab through GoToWebinar or via Twitter using the hashtag CBIoT. So a little bit on CB Insights. We're a data science and machine learning organization backed by Pilot Growth Equity and the National Science Foundation. We track every private company in the world and all the investment and financing activity related to them to help our clients answer questions about major trends, competitor strategy, potential disruptors, and much more. Here you can see a few of our happy customers. Now, a little on Nick. Nick is a tech industry analyst here at CB Insights. He has been published in dozens of publications, including Forbes, Fortune, Bloomberg, and more. Before joining CB Insights, Nick held a research role at MakerBot and is a graduate of Hamilton College. And I'm going to hand things off to Nick for the presentation.
Hi everybody, and thanks to Riley for that kind introduction. I'm always happy to be talking IoT. It's an area of ongoing coverage for me, and despite the tightening and funding this year, which we'll get into, there's still plenty to be optimistic about within IoT, and there's lots of great companies to check out and that are being built within the area. So just to outline what we're going to cover today in the webinar, first we'll start with some private market activity in IoT, what it is, and the emerging company landscape. Then we'll examine where IoT is driving investment and examine some of the subcategories that comprise it, including the smart home, wearables, and drones, and also industrial IoT, and compare the financing trends there. Then we'll see how corporations are investing in IoT and look at funding trends there. Then we'll move into M&A and notable exits and take a look at some of the increased activity in the 3D printing world that we've seen. And then we'll finish with some recent deals and future trends going on in overall IoT. Okay, so the macro state of IoT. So we've seen $12.6 billion invested across nearly 2,000 deals. And taking a look at the annual history here, the dollars invested into IoT are on track to grow year over year, but deals this year are on track to fall by 5%, at least the current run rate. Some top deals in 2016 year to date have included Jawbone, who you might recall took on $300 million in debt last year. So we're keeping a close eye on that well-funded startup, and they've had a bitter patent war with their now public competitor Fitbit, but Fitbit's also seen a lot of value erosion over the year, or since its IPO, and so this consumer devices and wearables area has been a pretty tough category. But another more recent financing, Thalmic Labs, the maker of this Myo gesture control armband, saw a $120 million Series B, which included Intel Capital and the Alexa Fund, among some others. And apparently they're moving into some to-be-announced category that is more than just gesture control for augmented and virtual reality. So we're excited to see where that goes. And then the next biggest deal was Metromile, which was a